Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the High Impact Podcast. You guys know I just want to connect you guys to the super cool people in my life, and Miss Sarah Kirkland just happens to be one of them. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for asking me to be here.
Yeah, so Sarah brought me these cool new earrings, so aren't they sweet? And that leads me to why I really wanted to have you here, other than you're just an entrepreneurial force. I wanted to talk about your newest venture. Tell us all of those things. Tell us what's happening.
Yeah, so my name is Sarah Kirkland. I just launched an online boutique. It's been an idea of mine for a very long time. I do hair and I'm in other things, but I realized, I think yesterday, I just want people to feel pretty. Aww. And there was a girl, because I have my boutique set up in half of my garage. Like, we've hung up curtains. It's halfway legit. But this one girl, she's like, I just feel so pretty. Like, this outfit just makes me feel so pretty. And I thought that is why I want to do this. Like, I want people to always leave feeling pretty.
Yeah.
So.
And coming from a place I never felt that, from a younger age, that just hit me all in the feels. So there are so many girls out there that are they don't feel like they're enough, or they don't feel like they're, let's say it, they don't feel like they're thin enough, or their boobs aren't big enough, or their lips aren't big enough, or their eyelashes aren't long enough. Yep. And so that's just such a nice sentiment to hear.
Yeah.
So tell us the name of your boutique and what you like. Do you specialize in a certain type of clothing or
so the name is Pink Phoenix. So originally a friend and I were actually going to start this together, and that kind of unraveled.
That's probably a blessing.
It is a blessing. It's sad because, I'm mourning a friendship.
Yeah.
But it is definitely for the best. Before I had the Glam Room, my salon was called the Glam Room, which is kind of another, I had a friend at the time when I first launched that name, that she had a rack of clothes in the salon, because at that point, this was 4 or 5 years ago, that's what I've always wanted to do, was just have all the things in there.
That makes sense.
Yes. And so, anyways, what I was going to say is I didn't want to use the same name, so we searched for other names. And I've always liked, my friend at the time, she was very, very girly. And I can be girly, but I'm more of on the grungier, laid back. I'm in workout clothes, Yeah. And I've always just loved the name Phoenix. I like what it means, rise from the ashes. I feel like
that's where I figured you got it.
Yeah, so that's, I feel like I've, in a million times in life so far, I'm only 31, I feel like I've rose from the ashes.
Yep.
And so, but I wanted a girly twist on it too. And so that's where the name Pink Phoenix came from. And as far as who I'm targeting, I haven't, honestly. I'm still just kind of figuring it out as I go. If I would have waited till it was completely perfect, I never would have got started.
Yep. Amen.
But
how many people need to hear that right now?
Yeah.
Just freaking do it.
Yeah.
Take a step.
God. When people ask me questions, I'm like, I don't know yet, but we're figuring it out.
Yeah. And kudos to you for not waiting.
But I just wanted, because I feel like I have always had such a variety of styles. I can be super grungy and rockerish, and then I can be super country, and then I can be super girly and dressy and workout mom. I'm a mom of 3, so and so as far as style, I'm still trying to figure that out, because I know I can't shop for everyone and I can't please everyone, but I want everyone to be able to find something. To make them, feel better. So I've got more plus size stuff. I'm getting more stuff that's great for work and being the boss babe that you need to be. Yeah. And then also if you want to go out and have fun, and if you want to dress, cute and trendy. So
I love it.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Well, first of all, I love the name.
Thank you.
I love it. I'm really big on names. I always thought that would be my dream job, is to name color cosmetics.
Oh my gosh, can you name my clothes then? Because I'm on there trying to. I've Googled this. I have done all the things to try to figure out how to name boutique. I've gone to other boutiques and I'm like, how did they come up with this?
Well, there's another boutique I shop from, and I'm like, why did you choose that name? Which it doesn't matter. I don't guess it really matters. Maybe it does. Hell, I hadn't researched it. But I guess, like, when I was a little girl, my dream, J-O-B, was, like, if this color needed to have a name, I wanted to be the one to name it. So
Okay, we'll trade out then. Please, I'm all about some bartering.
I love it. But the name is really cool. It's catchy. I knew a girl named Phoenix. So, of course, it had a little sentiment to me. You know, she was a childhood friend. But super, super cool name. If you haven't seen it yet, I would say, are you mostly Instagram or Facebook? Does it...
You know, I'm trying to still figure out the whole posting and being consistent on all the platforms and it not taking over my life. So I will post on Instagram. I have a Facebook group. It's the Pink Phoenix VIP.
Okay.
Or Pink Phoenix Boutique VIP. But that's the group, and I usually try to keep that group more, like, updated more than anything because they're in the group. I know with how, like, the algorithms and stuff, a lot of times you don't even see posts from pages. And so what I post on Instagram, it automatically posts to, you know, the Facebook page. But I try to mainly, I guess, post in the group more than anything. If I go live, it's on the group.
Well, you've got to see it because, you know, I'm way older than you, but
Which you don't look it.
Thank you. But
or act it.
Acting is all I care about. Yeah, I don't want to ever act my age. But there are things on there that I love, or I have absolutely zero. I can't put an outfit together, and I have this conversation with my friends. I'll trade out. I'll help you do this if you'll help me. I cannot put pieces together. I cannot. So when I go there, when I look at the things on the Pink Phoenix site, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Or I'll see Sarah, you know, she'll have, you know, shorts and a cool t-shirt on. I'm like, oh, I could do that. It's just such inspiration, and I love that.
And I love that you said that because it just makes me think, okay, that's what I need to do. Because that's what people need they need ideas.
And for example, there's another boutique that I do follow, and she'll say things like, so I would totally pair this with this or that. And so for somebody like me, now I would say 90% of my girlfriends are very they can put things together and walk out. I stress so hard. And that's why most of the time you'll just see me in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans because that requires zero thought.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
If, like, when they say, oh, I would totally pair this with some chunky wedges, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, I could do that.
It makes you think.
Yeah, and it makes you be able to see yourself in it, and then when you see yourself in it, you feel pretty, and when you feel pretty, you're confident. So it all kind of translates into, like,
confidence.
Yeah, into a whole thing. So do you plan to do brick and mortar with?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, so that's something I am actually slowly working on right now. I am looking for the perfect spot because, and this is going to be my next business adventure that I've slowly... for anyone that knows me, they know, like, when I have an idea, I'm like, it's going to happen.
A dog with a bone.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no talking me out of it. And this has been something that's just slowly been, like, I've been very, I've just not moved very fast with it because I want it to be perfect. I know it's a major step. It's going to take a lot of money, which, thankfully, there's so many grants and all the things out there for women and single moms.
I didn't know that.
And all the things.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm looking for a space. I'll just go ahead and tell you, like, my dream, what I would absolutely love.
I got so excited, I'm about to cough. Yes.
So there's actually a couple spots in Farragut that I would love to have, but they're both shells of places which would take
work.
All the extra work, yeah. So, but I would love to have a brick and mortar boutique with, like, in the front. And I like to draw things out. I'm such a visual person, so I really need to, like, draw the whole floor plan. I used to do that as a kid, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
I literally, this is getting sidetracked, but I would constantly draw out my room. So I was adopted when I was 11. I don't know if you know this or not.
You were what?
Adopted when I was 11.
Maybe I did.
That's a whole nother story. But when I was adopted, I remember my room was yellow, and then I painted it purple, and then I literally painted, I think, like 11 times until I turned 18 and moved out.
Oh, my God.
But I constantly drew out my floor plan, and I remember at one time I had, like, my bedroom, and I did not have a big bedroom by any means. It was a standard bedroom. But I had, like, my bedroom, and then I had, like, a sitting area, and then I had, like, my clothes area, and I had, like... But I've always just been into, you know... stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyways, I need to draw out my boutique. But so far what I have in mind is I want a boutique, and then I want a salon in it, because I don't think I will ever actually get out of doing hair.
Yeah.
I love doing hair. It's been my passion for 13
it makes people
years.
feel pretty.
Makes people feel pretty.
Yep.
And I mean, I hate to say this, but I mean, I'm good at it.
Yep.
And it just comes so natural
And
to
if
me.
you love it, you should not quit.
Yeah. And so, but I would like to have not suites, but I want each hairstylist to have their own room. But mainly because I don't want the business. I don't want their business. I don't want to have to deal with that. Like, that's not my focus when it comes to the salon boutique. I want them to have their own space where they can be themselves, because that's when I was happiest as a hairstylist, but still be able to come together. But I just want to do the rent aspect of it. You know, I don't want in their businesses. So I want probably like 3 of those. I don't want a lot, because my vision and focus is not to have a huge salon full of women. Like I've said, I've done hair for 13 years.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So I want that, and then I want a Norvell spray tan machine. I'm very specific, because I want to do memberships. It's smart. And if I had a Vicky around that spray tanned, oh my gosh.
Get yourself a Vicky.
I know, I need a Vicky. If I could just have a Vicky with me, that'd be amazing. But, and do the hand sprays. And I would love a lash person.
Yep.
Because that's another part. I love my lashes.
Absolutely.
I love them. Beautiful. And then I would, if I could get into the medical part of it, I would love to have a Wendy, or, Wendy is my girl, Pretty Girl Aesthetics. I love her, but I would love to have somebody that would do lips and Botox and all the things.
Absolutely. That sounds
like a full circle.
You could spend a day there.
You could spend a day there.
So a woman could come and spend a day, or a guy, actually, and do the Botox or the whatever and the...
Yeah. So that's like my overall big vision, but first and most importantly is boutique, and then like the salon part.
That's really cool.
So
you've been doing hair for
13
years.
Yep.
And then I know you're an entrepreneur. Have you always just kind of been that way, where you just like...
Yeah, my biological mom has a work ethic. My grandmother has a crazy work ethic. She's 80. Is she 84? We have the same birthday. I think I just asked her the other day, and I think she said she's 84, and she is just like, I'm like, thank God my genes. That's my genes, because, she's 84 and still mows and does all the things.
Jeez.
And she's just a powerhouse, and she's beautiful. But I think I've just always had so many jobs. Like, even when, let me get a drink really quick.
I think I will too.
Even when I was so excited to always work. And my parents that adopted me, they, always made sure I had all the things, but I always just wanted my own, and I always wanted to work. So when I was 17, and this is when my dad had cancer, and I danced on the dance team. I was a senior in high school. I had 3 jobs.
Good.
And I think, honestly, I look back and I'm like, me having 3 jobs when all that was going on, like my dad was super sick, I'm like, that's where my crazy busyness trying to always work when there's chaos around, which stems from like childhood completely. That's where that began, and I don't think I've ever really slowed down. I cannot imagine, and I guess I've just never wanted to want someone else to support me. I've never wanted someone to be able to take things away from me. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
And isn't it great to not have to punch a clock, or to worry about if that person's going to approve your vacation, and, everything hinges on.
Yeah. I think the last time that I had a job like that, I'm trying to think, because from doing hair, I was 19. I'm trying to think, when I was 19 when I got out of beauty school and started doing hair. And from that point on, if it was meant to be, it was gonna be up to me. And so like I worked to get clients in. I'm trying to think the last job that I had that I think it was because I worked at Sally's. I served.
That'll teach you some things.
Yeah. Yeah, I got fired from my last serving job.
Oh, no. I think everybody should have to serve.
I mean, I gave somebody a Coke and charged them for a water, and but then I went back and changed it, and they still fired me. It's fine.
That's fine.
So I was like, no one will ever take away my job again.
That's right. It's so cool. So tell me, when you have a vision like for the Pink Phoenix, how much time went into research? Where do you find, because you have to get the clothes from somewhere. Mm-hmm. So how do you find who to buy those from? And then how do you decide the markup? Because obviously there's a markup. Yeah. How do you decide whether to do brick and mortar or whether to do online? How do you find businesses to copy? Because you need to find somebody to give you inspiration, and then you need to go do that. How do you find all of those things?
So I'm a part of the Boutique Hub, and it's like a membership. You pay for it, and then you get just like all of this training, which I'll be honest, I haven't even gone through all the training. There's so many resources on there, and they have Facebook groups specifically for like the vendors, and they've got like a Facebook group specifically for, you know, us trying to build a business, and like, so there's that whole community that is absolutely amazing, because they're all boutique owners, a lot of online stuff, and they're all trying to kind of figure out. And like, one thing I've figured out is when I launched in June, I was thankful because June and July are apparently the slowest months. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad that I started,
absolutely,
you know, when it was a little slower. TikTok has been a major help, because you can just hashtag, like I use Shopify, and I researched because for years in my business I've always used Square. Like I still have Square for hair, for my appointments, for marketing, all that kind of stuff, and I'm very familiar with it. So I thought, should I open up a Square one and just kind of like add it on, or, you know, do Shopify? And everyone was saying Shopify,
because that one keeps up with your inventory.
It keeps up with everything. Like, I've learned so much.
That's cool.
You know, about the analytics and stuff. The first thing I had to do, which it took a while to do. I think I originally got the business license in March, I think, or April. Wow. Maybe April. But you have to, you know, get the business license. You have to apply for all these different, like the seller permits or the IDs, and to even be able to get into the wholesale websites. The wholesale websites, you know, I knew about a couple. There's like Fashion Showroom. Is it Fashion Showroom? LA Fashion Showroom, Fashion Go.
And that's where you find the actual clothes?
Yes, but then you get on there, and it is like every type of clothing possible. And so I try to just filter out.
Oh, my gosh. My brain would be an overload.
I wish it would probably tell me how many hours I've spent on there, because I'd be up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning just searching for clothes. And I remember we had a ton of stuff, like thousands of dollars in the cart, and we're just trying to filter, like, and figure out. But then I personally didn't want to buy stuff from China. If it was like, I understand a lot of things are made in China, but I didn't want to order from China. Mm-hmm. I wanted to order, you know, in the United States, because I wanted it to be here soon. Like, I didn't want to wait, you know, a million weeks. So just getting on there and just doing your own research. The only way you're going to figure it out is to just figger it out yourself.
Yeah, and to start and just...
Yeah, but there are a lot of things, like the website took me hours and hours and hours and hours to build. And I'm still tweaking it constantly. I've kind of stepped back from it a little bit, but every time I get on there... My brain would
explode if I had to build a website.
I really thought that it would. But there's also lots of help on YouTube and TikTok and all the things, like how to get a free shipping banner. Like, I didn't even know you can get an app from Shopify. Like, so TikTok's been a huge help. But I am working with a girl, Amanda. I can't remember her. It's an elephant business. She loves elephants. Oh. But I met with her recently, and she's going to help with the website, because there are things that I'm completely okay with just, I forgot what the word is, but just like paying someone else to do it.
Absolutely. Outsourcing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Delegating it to somebody else.
Me too.
Because I can't do it all, and I know my weaknesses, and that's not my passion.
Yep.
So if it's not my passion, why put all of my energy into it? I was listening to, was it a book yesterday or a podcast? I think it was a book. It was the 5 Love Languages, because I'm reading it again for like the 3rd time. But anyways, it was saying, you know, when an event happens or you do something, think about how it makes you feel and like start writing it down. Yeah. And so I was thinking, okay, if I have to do this one event, how does it make me feel? And I need to start tracking this, because it helps you figure out where your like your emotional nature is staying. Like, are you staying always stressed out? And so I was thinking, if I'm staying super stressed out about certain things in my life, then I need to try to delegate them to somebody else, so that way.
Yes.
Isn't that like
yes.
so good? I need to go back and listen to that again, because I stopped washing dishes and I had to write that down, because I'm thinking, okay, every single time, like whether it's...
You need to outsource washing them damn dishes. Yeah, just right. I'll get you somebody. Girl.
Well, my boyfriend is pretty amazing, so.
Well, there's that. Yeah. I'm not. Nope. That is definitely not a passion source.
No, not at all. And being a stay-at-home mom running 3 businesses.
Yeah.
Not my forte. Well, not my passion.
I gotta know, what's your love language?
So I feel like, you know, it switches a lot.
I have a couple.
So I always thought that it was gifts, which no one ever says that, but it's like, I love, it could be
like
anything.
These. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah. I mean, you could bring me, you know, just
5 minutes of your time.
A picture of Britney Spears. Yep. I'm like, oh, you thought about me.
I know.
You know? So, but quality time. The quality time. I didn't realize how much I love to, like, hey, let's just go on a walk. Like, hey, will you wash the dishes with me? Hey, will you cook with me? Hey, will you, can we just go to Target and walk around? We don't even have to buy anything. Just walk around together. Yep. Like, I just love that time. And that's something that I've kind of grown into as I've, I guess, matured.
Yeah, I think so too. So I struggle between the gifts, and I do love gifts, but it's, again, because someone thought of me and went out of their way. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself, like, I love birthdays, but again, it's because you just, oh, that's so sweet. Yeah. But then I toggle over to the acts of service. So if my husband washes the dishes or washes the car or picks up, the supper for the night on the way home, it just makes me so I toggle back and forth between those two all of the time. I struggle to pick.
That was always mine. Excuse me. Mainly because I feel like I'm the person that does everything, and so acts of service has always been a big thing.
It is.
I will say, Brent, he is a major acts of service. Like, he takes care of everything, and so I love that so much. And I think I definitely took that for granted. Because I'm dating my ex-husband.
Yeah.
You know this, right?
I think I figured it out.
Yeah. So, we were married a few years ago, and, all the life has changed since then. But when we got back together, I forgot how much he was so helpful. And I'm so, so grateful for that. So
that is really cool. Tell me, because I think both of us really love podcasts and audiobooks. Tell me what podcasts you're into right now that might relate to that entrepreneurial spirit, and maybe a book or two that you're loving.
So I always listen to Allie Reeves. She's the 6-figure influencer. She's local to Knoxville.
I did not know that.
I actually, let's see.
Hey, Allie.
Hey. Yeah, she's amazing. So I just knew of her through people, but I didn't know her. Yeah. And I still have never met her. We have the same hairstylist. Cool. Because my hairstylist that actually took over my room at the Suites, Kayla, she does my hair now, but she was always like best friends, I guess, with Allie.
Cool.
So yeah. But I always knew of Allie through, I guess, Instagram and stuff. Yeah. And I think I even followed her like forever ago.
I think you did, because I think I remember you posting about her years ago.
Yes. Well, before she even started all of that, when she was, in Knoxville. And then I just kind of followed her journey. And then she started the 6-figure. Like, I guess watched her from the very beginning. Yeah. I think I messaged her the other day and was like, I am so proud of you. You're like awesome. And so she's just, her podcast is awesome, and mainly because she's very social media based, and that's something that I've always tried to like figure out. Yeah. So hers, I've been listening to Deanna Herron. She's got a podcast. She's amazing.
I love her. So she's my new inspiration for TikTok. And for the real stuff, like the Instagram reels, I actually got that advice from a mentor, and they're like, okay, if you want to ramp this up, you need to watch her. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's great.
Yeah, I love her. And she's just such a powerhouse. I remember the very first time I met her, it was years ago when I first started the business.
Yeah.
And she came and spoke at one of our meetings, and I looked down, and because I would carry my catalog with me. I was like a brand new consultant. And she came, and I was like, oh, she's on the cover of the catalog. And she's beautiful.
I know.
And she's just so classy and poised.
She is, but she used to, or maybe probably, I don't know how that works, but she's a doctor. Mm-hmm. And like, she doesn't do that anymore because she's doing this other thing. So who doesn't want to follow somebody like that?
I know. And she was at our VP retreat in Florida, and she's just so real and just so sweet, and like I love her so much. So I am listening to a few podcasts like that.
Obviously, you're reading the 5 Love Languages.
Yeah, well, I'm listening to the 5. I'm always either listening to a podcast, listening to an Audible, or trying to read a book. The main things I've really been reading right now, John Maxwell, it's like the daily leadership devotional. My main things that I've been like reading have been like biblical. Yeah. So just trying to dive deeper into my spirituality.
That's cool. So what advice, if there is someone out there that is like, oh gosh, I'd love to do all those, they can't imagine having 3 businesses, but maybe they can imagine having 1. What advice, other than just get started, would you give somebody that can see themselves leaving a 9-to-5 to do something where they have freedom, time freedom and financial freedom?
Figure out like what you're thinking about all the time. Like figure out your passion. Like where are your thoughts going? Like when you're daydreaming, what are you constantly thinking about? And I always think like, how can I make money? You know, how can I turn this into something because ultimately you have to make money to be able to leave your 9-to-5. Yeah. So how can you turn it into a business, and how can you profit from it? And how can you just think like, because my mind is everywhere. Like I think of, at one point I wanted to go be an injector to do lips and Botox and all the things, but then I'm not going to go to nursing school. Yeah. But yeah, think about like what you're constantly daydreaming about and where your passion lies, and just kind of figure it out from there. Because there's so many random businesses out there. Like who would have thought to pick up clay and start making earrings out of it and make it a huge business?
And Paige is killing it.
Yeah.
And then listen to this. Y'all may have, I'm always thinking, what cool person can I bring on this podcast? Because I want y'all to know these cool people. I'm always thinking.
The fact that you think I'm cool is so cool.
I do. And a lot of it is because of your entrepreneurial drive. That really fuels who I have on here, because I just want to inspire other people. Yeah. I quit a great job to do what I'm doing, and I've never been so happy. But so I'm scrolling Facebook last night, because that's where my demographic goes. Anyway, I'm on Facebook and I see this picture this. A Pinterest perfect picture of a cloth tent, almost teepee-esque, with a nice mattress, a lot of blankets, some, not candles, but the flameless candles, and picture yourself sitting inside this tent and glamping. And I'm not going to tell you the name because okay, so basically the concept is this gal, you book her for either a girls' night or for not a honeymoon, but like a date night. Mm-hmm. And she'll come to your backyard, listen, and she'll like pitch these tents, and she has all of either the romantic things or the girly things. Like she has a memory foam, blah, bitty, blah, mattress, and all of the soft textile blankets. Y'all, she glamps. She sets up glamping in your freaking yard. And I reached out to her, and I was like, I know you don't know me, because I've done this. This is like the second time in probably 7 days I've done this to somebody. I'm like, I know you don't know me, but I've got this podcast, and I really want to introduce the community to cool people. And she's like, well, it's not yet a concept. Like, we're working on the concept. We will roll out in September. And I was like, I want to be the person to help you get out there. Because awesome. Who would have thought that pitching a tent in someone in random...
Making it fancy.
Yeah.
Adding some hottie to it.
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like when you see these pictures. So y'all, there are cool random ideas.
Yeah.
Random. And her name, you're gonna love her name. I'm not gonna tell y'all because again, I'm gonna have her on here. The name is like
so good.
so good.
Like, so smart.
But yeah, Sarah's right. There are so many businesses out there, or niches, or needs that you can fill, or services that you can do for people that either they're too busy to do, or like Sarah said, she wants to pay somebody to just go do this. I'm not passionate about it. That you can fill because you are passionate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's literally a job or a need for everything. I've came across so many people in the last couple of weeks that have told me what they do, and I'm like, oh.
I know.
Let's rate them.
I know a guy that'll come to your driveway and change your freaking oil. And I'm like,
anything mobile where you can make someo's life easier. Like, think about
they're too
that.
busy. They
How
don't
can you make someone's life easier?
Yeah.
And that's
yes.
Yeah.
She's right. Pick up their dry cleaning, or like mobile dog groomers, or
that's so smart.
Yeah, this dude that comes to your driveway and changes your oil. I've known him. He used to, when I was in the apartment business, we would have these partnerships, and
mobile detailing.
Yes. There are ideas out there. So Sarah's right. Like, where are you thinking? Where are your thoughts going? And when you said that, I thought mine always go to dogs. So, and I'm like, damn it, why didn't I do something with dogs? But it's okay, everything's fine. But that's a great like jump off point. Figure out what you're thinking of, and then go and do some research. But don't wait until it's perfect.
No.
We've heard that a lot, in business, that, I just want to wait. And if you research something to death, you're never going to do it.
You're never going to do it. No.
Yeah. You're just not.
No. Because I had someone actually tell me, like, the percentages of boutiques actually lasting is, this. So, that person decided not to do it. And I could have totally taken that and just been like, well, if I would have really dug into that research, probably not ever done it. But it's been so good.
People told me the same thing about real estate.
Yeah.
They're like, you're walking away from that job to do this?
Yes, I am.
In a pandemic?
Yes, I am.
I'm like, who do you think I am?
Yeah, and then that just gives you just a little extra fuel.
But we didn't come from, like, you and I both probably came from environments where, I couldn't wait to work. I couldn't wait to go to work. I think I was 16 and I was bagging groceries at the Bi-Lo. It used to be Bi-Lo. And so I couldn't wait to do that so that I could buy my own this or buy my own that. So I think it just takes, not everybody could probably do it. And you know what? I guess a JOB is for some people.
Yeah.
But if you are feeling that pull, or that, if you're just a broader thinker, I think there's definitely a need you can fill and a job you can do to make money, and then time is your currency. Would you say that?
Yeah, because you've got to figure out how to be super strategic with your time. Because 3 businesses, 3 kids, and a house. You have to be so strategic and just planning out every minute of your day, honestly.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get things done. When people say, how in the world do you do it? Like, sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy, but you just have to be super strategic.
You do. And I want to just hit one more point that Sarah mentioned, and it was just outsourcing the things that you're not passionate about. So my friend Brian helps so much with this podcast, and I've been promising him for months and months that I would write my intro and my outro. And I, as much as I love words and I love talking to people, what I didn't want to sit down and focus on was that damn intro and outro, because, okay, that's trying to describe me. And the podcast is kind of complicated, but really it's not. It's simple. It's just cool people. And so I know y'all have heard of the website Fiverr, but I went on Fiverr and I was like, I searched for podcast intros, found this chick. I think she's a chick. I don't even know. Paid her, and guess what? It's done. Intro. And my plate was free. Brian's going to be happy because I get to record this and be done with it. So now y'all can hear a cool intro and outro. But I didn't have to do that. $40.
Shut up.
And do you know how much mental space I got back?
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about Brian or because I know that the podcast needs it, but I'm more focused on this and I didn't want to do that. Y'all, there's a way to outsource everything. I have somebody clean for me so that my time can be focused on acquiring new clients. There's a way to outsource that stuff. And for those of you who are like, oh, I can't, you're bougie to have okay. So what I pay this gal to come clean for me, pay her $50 every other week. Do you know how much I'm going to make off those 2 hours? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be able to go find a client and get a commission check for thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
The math is there. So for all of you
can't afford not to.
Yeah. So for anybody that's saying, oh, I can't outsource that. Okay, cool. Well, then think about your time. Time has value. And for me, when you back into that number at how many hundreds of dollars an hour you're worth, it's so much more of a no-brainer to outsource that stuff. So y'all free up your time and let somebody else take on that.
And
right?
plus, whenever you pay someone, say I pay a babysitter, so much money to watch the girls for a few hours, I'm going to make sure for those few hours I get as much as I possibly done.
Because you're strategic with your time. You've probably mapped out what you need to do in those 3 hours, and you're probably going to freaking go do it.
Yeah, and you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's how you're able to get to the point where you're dreaming of. Like, when, I would think, like, how can this person be able to do this? Or how can this person be able to afford this? Or how do they get all this time? Well, by doing stuff like this, you have to start thinking of yourself as that person that you want to be, not thinking like, what, I'm not sure if that makes sense, but you've got to think about of yourself as that,
and bigger,
that person that you want to be, and start acting and doing what they would do. Yeah, you
do. And for me, and I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, that's easy for you to say. I understand. But for me, I grew up pretty poor. We didn't have a lot. And of course, I watched my mom and her work ethic. Go back to episode 1 if you want to hear about Mama Jane and her work ethic. I grew up 10 brain surgeries. This chick is still working. Like, she's an amazing human. That's the kind of example I grew up with. But the thing, my most limiting belief was I would come from a source of scarcity. I would not want to spend money because I grew up, money was very scarce. So I wouldn't want to outsource to Fiverr. I wouldn't want to pay someone to come clean, because you want to hang on to those dollars because it makes sense. You'll see what I did there? But here's what happened for me in 2020. I left a job, came to work for myself, and I let go of that. And I know y'all are going to trip on this, but you start spending money or start letting things out. You're like, oh, I'm okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and you're right. It will, if you live like, so I was coming from a place of, I guess, abundance instead of a place of scarcity. It's real easy when you leave a job to go into that. We got to save every dime. We got to live like paupers over here. We got to, we can't. I let go of that in 2020, and I had the biggest epiphany mentally and then in my business. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Like, when you start living like you're that person, things will fall into place. Do you really believe that?
Yes, because I think when you start living like that person, you start acting like that person, your confidence goes up, and it's just a cycle. Yeah. It just helps you, because when your confidence is up, you work a little better, I think, and you just keep going.
Yeah, and you, like you said, you act like you're the CEO, or you act like you're that, and then you carry yourself different. Your decisions are different. And so I would advise you guys to take all of the things that Sarah has talked about and just really go and find the thing that fuels you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would. Well, tell everybody where they can find you. I know we've talked about it, but what are your handles on Instagram?
Okay, so my Pink Phoenix is it's at Shop Pink Phoenix. Facebook, same thing. If you want to join the group on Facebook, it's Pink Phoenix Boutique VIP. My actual Instagram handle is Sarah_RVP, I believe.
And we can link all this too, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So on that Facebook or on that Instagram, it's just me and my children and just a hot mess of all sorts of stuff. Navigating through life.
That's what we live for.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
for being here. I appreciate it. I'm so excited about I'm excited for anybody who goes into business, but especially somebody who does it, scales it, does another one. Does that, scales it, does another one. So I'm really excited to see where you go.
Thank you.
Sarah's going to be with us at the Mary Market December 4th. Yes. So I know that's a long way. It seems like a long way for some of us, but it's going to be here before you know it. So definitely check her out there. Check her out online and order all of those items, because everything's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for my earrings,
You're
Sarah.
welcome.
They're 100% me. Thank you for all you're doing for the community and for inspiring other women and men to just go out and do it. Thank you for being here.
Speaking of, really quick, so 10% of all of our proceeds or our profits go to Basamba's organization, Meant to Be Up to Me.
Tell us about that, just a hair. For those of you who don't know Basamba Sal, he's a good friend. Tell everybody.
Yes. So I've known him since I was 18, and he is from West Mali, Africa, and he and his wife Heidi they have done so much for the community already. They've put a well in with, have you heard about any of this? They put a well out there, and so I'm pretty sure it's the only fresh water in that area.
Yes. I thought you meant here. I was like, no, I haven't heard that. Yes.
They put a well near their house, and so Heidi was telling me that, all the people come with all their big buckets and fill up from that well, and that's what they bathe their children out of and cook and all the things and drink throughout the day. And
if you don't know about water purification and how the word blessed is so overused in my opinion, but how fortunate and blessed we really are to have water that we can actually drink out of the tap. The folks there would not know anything about fresh water unless it were for people like Basamba.
Yes.
Yeah, and Heidi.
And I've never been a huge missions person. That was never I guess my calling. But seeing the videos and just knowing Basamba and his heart and, sponsoring, you can sponsor children to actually make sure that they don't have to work when they're 11 years old. Oh my goodness. I felt like that was the way that I was able to make a difference. So,
awesome. And that one his charity is Meant to Be Up to Me.
Yes, Meant to Be Up to Me. And they're doing a lot of good things out there. So I'm excited that, every month I get to send him money. And to me, it makes me so excited.
Yeah, that's a great call out. You guys look up Basamba, look up Meant to Be Up to Me, and make sure you shop Pink Phoenix. Yes. And so can we come to your place and try things on?
Absolutely.
Is that what?
It's in my garage. I don't have hours or anything. If you text me and say, hey, can I come shop? I'm like, absolutely. I'll raise those doors up. And
that's so cool.
Yeah.
You guys, she's always got something really cool going on, contests or engagement things. So follow her on social. And I just appreciate you being here. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all.